It is a week since I got back from my third place finish at Tour Divide, and I'm just getting the bike up and running again. So I'm here at the Mason Barn. I thought I'd give you a bit of a rundown as to my setup, go into a little bit more detail about the equipment I've chosen and how it panned out for me over the course of the race. So the bike which I chose was the Mason Macro. Aluminium hardtail. I've been riding this for about 3 or 4 years now. Done well over 30,000 Ks on it. So I'm pretty familiar with it, and I know how I want to build it up for an event like this, which is electronic drivetrain. Super important for me anyway, because it means you can shift in 2 different places, like on both sides, and then also up here. Gives you a bit of redundancy if one of those shifter pods runs out of battery or brakes, which I have had on me before. So I've gone for SRAM transmission, which works well enough. Yeah, shifting was pretty good all the way through. Didn't need to replace my chain or brake pads or anything throughout. Wheels wise, I chose the Hunt proven Dynamo wheels. Having a Dynamo was really nice. So it was linked up to the new Exposure Revo 5, which has now got like an inbuilt battery in it, and you can now charge your electronics from it. It meant that I didn't need to use my battery packs at all. I used them once. I had 2 of the Nightcore 10,000s, and they weren't used at all. I could have gone without them. Not that I would have. And yeah, it was really helpful. I didn't really charge from the wall much because I only stayed in accommodation, like paid accommodation one night, and then at Brush Mountain as well. That being said, maybe if I had to do it again, I would run some non-dynamo wheels. Now I know what is coming up. I'd maybe sleep in accommodation a little bit more and be able to charge things. Battery tech's really good, so these days, so you can go longer with between charges, and it means you can go save a bit of weight and not have the extra drag of a front dynamo. So I'm glad I did it for my first go, but maybe next time I will roll the dice a little bit more, if that makes sense, and not run a dynamo, because it is objectively faster. So yeah, those wheels. Tyres, the Conti Dub and Tal Trail Rapid. So that is the faster compound, but with the added protection. They were really good. They're a really fast tyre. They're pretty puncture resistant. I did have right at the end like a massive sidewall cut from like a snake bite, because I was running super low pressure because it was really sandy, and then I hit a rock. It was my fault. If it wasn't at the end, I would have put more air in after the sandy section. I just couldn't be bothered at the time, but that took 10 plugs to fix. Again, I probably could have sewed it up, but it was just before the end and I couldn't be bothered. So I rolled in, pumping up every so often. But anyway, those are the tyres I'd probably choose to run again. Then other bits of the bike, aero bars from USC. I've used these a bunch. I added some extra foam to them because the foam I've used, I should have replaced it before the start. It got quite compressed over like, I don't know, 30,000 K of riding with those aero bars. So they, yeah, could have been replaced in terms of just the actual pad. I've got these little grips, which are nice and handy. I don't use them too much, but I find that when I don't have them, I really miss them. And yep, suspension fork with a lockout is actually feeling pretty good. I've got my nice little Dale's Divide #BeMoreMike Mike stem cap, which is a nice little reminder of Mike. On to the kit and equipment and everything I packed with me. The big decision was to run the Restrap switch rack that I'm just using a dry bag with here. It was really helpful because it allowed me to strap a bunch of kit to the sides if I needed an extra like 2-litre water bottle or a bottle of Coke or something. And also it meant I could take my pack off and put it on top as well when it was really hot. This is where I had all my sleeping kit as well as a few spares and things. So I'll get that out now. The sleeping kit is tried and tested. It's the helium, like Outdoor Research helium hoop bivvy. It was maybe a bit overkill, but I don't like sleeping in a bivvy in the rain. Not that it rained much. and then an X bed sleeping bag that was 0 degrees. Again, maybe slightly overkill, but it was nice not being really cold at night, because it got down to like -3, -4 in Colorado. So I didn't need to wear all my warm kit and Gore-Tex and stuff in bed and stuff, because that's horrible. I also had some spares and repairs in here as well. So I had a couple of TPU tubes. Down the other end, I had my repair kit. I had some spare sealant that I did end up using right at the end to help with the big flat that I had. I started off with a Nemo mattress, really light. It's what I use to Eastern Divide. I do rate it, but I managed to get like a 6-inch tear in it somehow. So I was out of mattress for a few days until I got to Brush Mountain Lodge, and in the hiker box I found a little piece of foam that I could sleep on that was great, super comfortable. Definitely better than nothing, but not as nice as a mat, but it was completely fine. On to the frame bag. This is a nice custom one from Restrap. I asked them to make it extra wide for me because I can fit more in it, and my legs bow out anyway, so I might as well use the space. This is pretty much clothes in here. So the top I had, this is a Lacole Pro insulated jacket. So with the like Alpha, Polartec Alpha stuff, which is really good. This was my go-to like warm layer. I also had some warmers in here, so I had my arm warmers, some nice merino ones. Again, really good if you're wearing a pack, because you don't need to take it off to put things on. And then I started with a merino long sleeve base layer that was really good at the start, just to put on at night, but I ended up getting rid of it halfway to free up some space. I also had started off with some tights, like sort of shoulder season tights, that I'd cut the pad out, and then I got to New Mexico and I cut the legs off so I could use these as leg warmers, just to save a bit of space in here, because if I was putting my pack on the back, it meant I used a frame bag to put the bladder in, so I could fit the bladder in the frame bag, which was really good when it got a lot hotter, because it got down to like 40 or up to like 42, 43 degrees in New Mexico. So yeah, save a little bit of space in there. I've also got some other bits and bobs, like some waterproof over mitts. I had some big gloves as well. I think they're in the wash at the moment. And some other few little bits and bobs in there. In the bottom, this is where I had my rain kit. So I had a, this is the Lacole Arc waterproof with a nice hood. Really nice piece of kit. It's a bit sad now. I've bought it for quite a few archers now. But yeah, that was perfect. It didn't rain too much, but in the north it was quite helpful. And then I had some Gore-Tex trousers in there as well. I just spotted as well, I found this on the side of the road on like the last day. It's just like some pliers. I just picked it up because I was going to see if anyone left it or lost it at the end, but I thought I might as well keep them. Handy. Onto the top tube pouch. This is again is a custom one that is made extra wide for me. This is where I have just sort of miscellaneous stuff. So there's a lot of electronics in here. So I had my two 10,000 milliamp hour batteries, Nightcore ones. These are really good. I probably only needed one because the dynamo was so good. I had my charger. Again, this is like a 80 watt charger. So if you're only stopping for a couple of hours, you want to maximize the charging you can get done. I had a spare exposure rear light. I had my SRAM batteries, a few bits of like self-care stuff. So this is some like cream, which is both antiseptic and anesthetic. So with a saddle sore, it's the best thing for it. It's got lidocaine in it, so it stops it hurting and it cleans it. So yep, super good to have some of that sort of thing. I've got some saline nose spray to try and stop my nose bleeding quite so much. That's got a few other anesthetic type things in there. Toothpaste, toothbrush. I lost my toothbrush 3 times, so I had to keep on buying them. I think it's because I started off with them in the mesh, because I was brushing my teeth like 3 or 4 times a day, just because you're eating so much sugar. It just sort of freshens things up a little bit. Some sun cream as well. I started off with this, with the Ryman P20. That much lasted me like 12 days without any sunburn at all, other than the day that I thought I'd lost it, that I got sunburnt on. But anyway, I bought some new stuff after that, so it's really good, the Ryman P20. And then that's pretty much it for in there. On this side, this little pocket is where I had things like my passport, some cash, my cards, my multi-tool, my dyno plug, which I ended up using a lot, and almost all of my plugs in it. I started off with 12 and needed almost all of them. And that's pretty much everything was in there, I think. Oh, lube as well. So a Silka Synergetic lube and a rag, and then a spatula. So I bought this in Banff in the supermarket because in case it was really muddy, and it is actually really good to scrape out the thing. Until you've been there, scraping the mud off your wheels and your frame with your bare hands, you don't know how good a spatula is. You might just say, I'll just pick up a stick. There are no sticks in the middle of the desert in New Mexico. What are you going to do? I didn't use it in the end, but I'm still glad I brought it. And the spatula is better than like a paint stick because it's got the like silicone bit. So yeah, pack a spatula. Multi-tool is again the one with the chain breaker and like the essentials. And that was pretty much it for the stuff on the bike. I also had, the other key piece of equipment is the Restrap lightweight hydration vest, which is a new piece of kit. This again, I had a 2.5 litre bladder in here that was filled up with some combination of Gatorade or like orange juice or water or whatever. It's in the bin now because it was minging. And then it's got all of these stretchy pockets, which was mostly for food, to be honest. The ones at the side are good, that you can fit like baguettes or sub rolls, as they like to call them in America. The front was for start off like filled with energy food. So I think I've got one Precision 60 bar left, which is great. That's good for like an hour's riding by the time you're knackered. And I also had my tracker in here, which was a Garmin InReach Messenger, which is the best one to get because its battery life is a lot more than those of the Mini. I had an exposure joystick in here as well that I'd put on my helmet if I needed it at night. I see people starting these races with the helmet like already on their head, and then they wonder why they get a sore neck. Well, it's because you've got like 100 grams extra on your head. Just only put it on when you need it. And oh yeah, here's the light. There we go, as you can probably see. And it's also got the cleat on it. If this broke for whatever reason, I could use it as a front light. It's always good to have redundancy in these things as well. And then yeah, in the back was just stuffed with food the whole time because there's not that much resupply, and it's nice to have sandwiches, etc. So that is pretty much my kit and equipment. Oh yeah, and the GPS. Sorry, it's a Coros Dura, which to be honest isn't great. Like, it's just not as good as a Garmin. Like the accuracy of it isn't as good. It like bugs out the whole time, like, and crashes on you. Following the screen isn't as good, like as easy. The Climb Pro doesn't work very well, but its battery life is like 4 times longer than a Garmin. So it is worth it in some races. Like in the longer ones where the nav isn't hard, like Divide, it is worth using the Coros Dura for. But if I can get away with it, I'm going to use my Garmin Edge 1050 instead at other times, which I actually had a spare one with me as well. I had the spare Garmin with the stuff loaded on it as well. But yeah, that's a Coros Dura. Like, it's fine, but I don't use it as a day-to-day device because it's just not very good other than the battery life. Hopefully they'll come up with a new one that's better. Yeah, I probably wouldn't change too much, to be honest. I'd use a slightly larger chainring. That's a 34. I would probably use a 36 or a 38. I spend a lot of time in that 10 tooth, which is not very efficient, and a lot of time spinning out. And then As I said, I'd probably not use a dynamo if I had to do it again. I'd maybe go slightly lighter on the sleeping kit again. But those are like calculated risks because I've already done it once. I kind of know what to expect. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Any questions or comments or whatever, stick them in below and I'll try and get back to you. And yeah, there we go. Ciao, ciao.